Coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of Clair College Journalism.
Hello, my name is Aisha Coburn, and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. Many of us have a bucket list, but as Justin Prince explains, one young man's list involves sleeping bags.
If you have a bucket list, then you may as well use it to help make the world a better place. The Rawlings family crossed the first item off their son Matt's bucket list earlier today by donating more than 600 sleeping bags to Street Help, a homeless shelter which opened 15 and a half years ago on Wyandotte Street. Matt's bucket list included 50 tasks, from going skydiving to helping people during a natural disaster. Matt died in 2012 before he could start working on the tasks on the list. According to Paul Rawlings, Matt's father, helping the homeless was number 4 on his bucket list. Street Help founder Christine Wilson Furlonger says her facility is grateful to receive the donation.
We're very grateful for this. Being one of the smaller, lesser known, and I don't mean in smaller in numbers of clients, because we serve about 200 people a day every day, but smaller known in that way, lesser known I guess would be the better phrase. This actually came as a very great surprise to us that his family had decided to do this to help our agency.
The sleeping bags came from a variety of different places, from Matt's former high school to stores to the Detroit Windsor Tunnel. Hall says that his son will be proud of what his family was doing, especially on what would have been his 21st birthday.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Matt would have a big smile on his face today for sure, being his birthday and what he's seen, what we've done. That simple, he'd have a smile on his face today. That's all I could say.
All in all, the day was a success in memory of Matt Rawlings and the start of his legacy.
Happy birthday to you.
For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Prince.
The Coats for Kids campaign is still working to keep everyone warm. Taylor Bush tells us more.
Though the Coats for Kids campaign has passed, volunteers say residents can still receive new coats through the winter.
There's only a few sites that will have coats during the winter, but we'll try to accommodate people that are coming into the, country late or whatever. And if there's any more coats that people want to donate, call the Unemployed Help Center to let them know, so we have selection for the people.
Debbie Desjardins has been the coordinator of Coats for Kids for the past 5 years. She said there is still a great need for programs like this in Windsor.
If you look at some of the people that we've got a lot of new immigrants that have come to Canada that have never seen snow, so they're trying to get prepared because they've come here without a jacket, and they've probably already found that the weather compared to what they've lived in is cooler, so they're already needing something warm to put on.
Volunteers say the easiest way to get a new coat this winter is to call the Unemployed Help Center.
It's 944-4900. And they will be able to direct you to who still might have coats.
Reporting for Mediaplex News Now, I'm Taylor Bush.
Now it's time to go outside to the corner of University and Victoria, where Sean Frame is standing by. What's it looking like out there, Sean?
Well, Aisha, it's windy and it's cold, but at least it's dry, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Right now, it's -2 Celsius, and a little later tonight, it'll be -4. I'll be back later in the show to tell you what the next few days are going to look like. Back to you, Aisha.
Thanks, Sean. St. Clair College's public relations students recently got a real taste of the business world. Ryan Bro has the story.
The second years of the public relations program were split into teams for their end of the semester entrepreneurship project. The teams were faced with pitching their conceptual business ideas to the 4 dragons. Wissam, a lawyer from the Business Accelerator, Ashlyn, a program facilitator at WeTech, Christopher, a graphic designer, and Yvonne, an intern president and CEO at WeTech Alliance. Yvonne explains how the students did.
A lot of creativity this year, a lot of really thought out plans in terms of the valuations of companies, the market analysis.
There were 6 groups in the trade show. One of the groups came up with a PR branding and rebranding agency.
We get existing or new businesses who want to rebrand their business, and we make it from scratch, and we give them campaigning ideas, and we just wanted that because in the future that would be something that we would want to do.
Another group formed a party planning company.
We often are going to be hosting and planning events that are going to take place in our clients' homes. For example, a Super Bowl party or a girls' night in or a shower, those sorts of things.
In the final weeks of the semester, the second-year students are using their feedback from the Dragons to write business plans for their companies. Reporting for Mediaplex News Now, I'm Ryan Bro.
Now it's time for this week's edition of British Beat with Sean Preble, all the way from the University of Kent in England.
Welcome to the latest edition of the British Beat. I'm Sean Preble, and I thought for this edition I would take you to the historical cathedral city of Canterbury, where I'm going to take you on another tour of one of the most famous places to come to in the Kent and Southeast England area. Canterbury is a historic city that lies along the River Stour. Dating back to Roman times, it eventually became an English settlement and is now one of the most visited cities in the United Kingdom, despite its size compared to other popular British cities. Many historical structures remain, including a city wall built in Roman times in 300 AD. The ruins of St. Augustine's Abbey, the 15th century Sun Hotel, once visited by Charles Dickens, and the King's School, one of the oldest schools in all of England. Speaking of education, Canterbury also has 4 universities: the University of Kent, Canterbury Christ Church University, the University College for the Creative Arts, and Gurn American University, Canterbury. Now, one of the most famous landmarks of Canterbury, however, is Canterbury Cathedral. Now, this is Canterbury Cathedral, one of the most historical and famous churches in all of Britain. It was first founded in 597 AD and then rebuilt between 1070 and 1077 AD, with many alterations being done all the way up to 1834. It is the church of the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is the leader of the Church of England, and is also the center of many pilgrimages for Christians worldwide, which led to the tellings of the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Which, an interesting note here in Canterbury, there is a themed tour about the Canterbury Tales that you can visit and learn more about these pilgrimages. Thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of the British Beat. I'm Sean Preble, and be sure to stay tuned next time, where I'll be taking everyone on a tour of none other than London, England, the capital of England. Thanks again, and back to the Mediaplex.
On this edition of 3 Minutes With, Janai Linton-Hill sat down with Windsor's Chief of Police, Al Frederick.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Hill. I'm with my guest, Chief of Windsor Police, Al Frederick. So, can you tell us about the changes you made to the police force since you've been instated?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's been lots of changes, Janai. Most importantly, been a little bit of a restructuring of the organization. So we've put a lot more police officers back on the road in patrol functions where they're more visible by the community. So that's been one of the main changes that has occurred. We've also made changes to our model. It's a more integrated, meaning we're working together a lot more than we used to, even among ourselves. So investigators with frontline patrol officers. And then there's been lots of policy changes and equipment, lots of new technology. So been a lot of changes.
Why do you feel the changes are important?
Oh, changes are important for a number of reasons, but most importantly, we have to keep up with legislative requirements. We have to keep up with demands from the community, and we have to keep up with best practices in regards to police functions. So there's always changes to the legislation, there's always changes in technology, and there's requirements of a police service. So for example, we're moving towards what they call next generation 911. So it's not just going to be someone phoning, we're going to be allowed to text to the 911 center for police response. So these are technological changes that are required because of we belong to a broader policing community.
So how do you feel Windsorites are taking these changes?
So it's good, because a lot of these changes that we're undertaking, especially more police officers on the street, have come as a direct result of feedback we've received from the community, which is we want more visible police officers, we want more patrols in our neighborhoods, so we're trying to accommodate the requests directly from our community through surveys and that sort of thing.
All right, so that's cheap. What are you most proud of, like, since you've been an officer?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we have a lot to be proud of as an organization. We serve an incredible community. So what we're most proud of is the fact that we have such trust with our community. And when something occurs in our community, we hear about it. So we have an engaged community that trusts the police, they call the police, and they cooperate with the police when something happens in their neighborhood. So that makes us more effective as a police service, and we're an extremely effective police service.
So what's the most stressful part of the job anyway?
Stress?
Yeah.
The stress, I think overall, for the frontline officers, there's an accumulated effect of the job, right? So day after day, high stress calls, whether it's a victim of a crime, an accident, motor vehicle accident with injuries, domestic violence, the officers are constantly exposed to stressful situations. So a cumulative effect over a period of time weighs on the officers. So we have moved to a model where we're trying to provide a lot more support for our frontline officers, especially who are out there every day engaged with the community.
All right, so last question. Is there any future plans you can speak of right now that you have for the Windsor Police?
Yes, so good question. So we're continuing down a path of what we call an integrated policing model, where we have police officers getting a lot more experience and a lot more opportunity internally. So they're going to get a chance to do investigative work, and they're getting a chance to do other types of jobs rather than just frontline policing. So there's more job enrichment, there's more integrated approach, so we're working together much more tightly than we used to in the past. So the officers seem to enjoy that.
All right, so that's everything for today. Thank you for coming in. Everyone, again, this is Windsor Police Chief Al Frederick, and that's all for today.
Thanks for having me.
The Mediaplex's programs and courses were featured on AM 800's Experts on Call. Dan Gray reports.
The Mediaplex was front and center when Chair of Media Arts and Design, Lorna McCormick, joined Veronique Mandel and student Sean Frame to talk about the journalism and public relations programs.
If you don't know what you want to do, you get a chance to do everything and then, pinpoint what you actually want to do. So that's a great experience at the Mediaplex.
The hour-long broadcast featured questions ranging from features of the building and number of students to what it was like to attend the Mediaplex and St. Clair College. Arms Boomerang is one of the hosts of Experts on Call and explains the goal of the radio program.
It's a way for us to inform while getting our client's message across to our listening audience. So it's a great opportunity for people to come on the air and, I like to say, just hang out and tell us about their business and tell us about how they keep it local here in Windsor, Essex.
Veronique Mandel is the Journalism and Public Relations Course Director at the Mediaplex.
I think using an opportunity like Experts on Call really gives us an opportunity to get the word out about the Mediaplex and about our programs to a much wider audience.
For more information about the Mediaplex, you can call the college at 519-972-2727. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Dan Gray.
Looking for a new book? Taylor Bush has the scoop on this year's best picks.
Oh hi, I didn't see you there. I was just reading When God Was a Rabbit by Sarah Widman. It is a nice story about sibling relationships that might make you stop to think about your own. It is a great addition to any bookshelf. Pick up your copy today. So now I'm going to switch gears to talk about the books you should be thinking about this holiday season. My number one pick for those of you with a sense of humor is You Have to Eat by Adam Mansbach. It is the long-awaited sequel to Go the to Sleep that reminds parents and grandparents it's okay to laugh when things get tough, but never ever read it out loud because you don't know who might be listening. As for kids, I recommend The Book with No Pictures by BJ Novak. If you are unsure about this book, don't be. You'll enjoy it just as much as they do, if not more. For young adults, I recommend Goddess Inheritance by Amy Carter. It is the second book in the series which follows a girl named Kate who completes challenges to be the wife of Hades. It leaves out adult situations and focuses on the action, which will keep girls and boys entertained long past Christmas. Finally, for adults, I recommend Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. It is about the unsolved murder of a woman who is also guilty of not following the law herself. Sounds like the next summer blockbuster, if you ask me. Before I wrap up, here's some food for thought. F. Scott Fitzgerald is also famous for using slang terms long before their time. In the 1920s, he used the words wicked, t-shirt, and daiquiri in his first novel, This Side of Paradise. So, if you're also an avid writer, consider tossing some new slang terms in your book, because you never know what will be popular a near century from now. To find out more about the books I discussed, or to submit your own holiday picks, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Tune in again next week to find out my prediction for book sales in 2015. I'm Taylor Bush, and you've been watching Book Break.
Music is making a difference in standing up to cancer. Chris Mayu tells us more.
A local musician isn't just talking about cancer, he's singing about it. Walter Sanko's song We Are the Cure was inspired by Rob Dyer's Skate for Cancer campaign. Sanko wrote the song after touring with Dyer in Skate for Cancer. He found the experience to be enlightening because of Dyer's positive attitude. One thing Sanko said he found motivation about Dyer is how he isn't asking for money, but instead is asking for awareness.
Like, I guarantee you, if you haven't had somebody affected by it, chances are, sadly, that you will know somebody.
The tours Dyer does usually involves teaching kids how to perform proper breast exams, eat healthier, and overall inspire a healthier lifestyle for their future. Sanko is using the money raised from the song purchases on iTunes to help support the Wellspring Cancer Support Foundation, an organization that works to help relieve stress for cancer patients and family members by giving them access to activities like yoga. Sanko will be working with local photographer and videographer Mike LeClaire for his next music video, Pills. LeClaire said he finds the idea of We Are the Cure to be an incredible cause. Using music to talk about a cause is a more entertaining way of helping inform people instead of something like a speech. LeClaire went with Sanko to Toronto for a Sirius XM interview. He was the photographer for the interview and took that chance to meet Dyer.
And Rob is a great guy, experienced a lot in his life, and I think that, for Walter to collaborate with such a influential person, that's amazing in itself.
You can watch the video We Are the Cure on YouTube and purchase the song on iTunes. Proceeds will go to Wellspring until December 31st. Reporting for Mediaplex News Now, I'm Chris Mayu.
Yeah.
Now it's time to go back outside where Sean Frame is braving the elements. Sean?
Aisha, here is something you might find interesting. Did you know an inch of rainwater is equivalent to about 15 inches of white powdery snow? Well, it doesn't look like we'll see either of those over the next few days. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 1 and a low of -4 Celsius. Thursday, we will see a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 2 and a low of -5. And Friday will be cloudy with sunny breaks and a little cooler with a high of -2 and a low of -7. That's it for me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you.
Thanks, Sean. Health, wealth, and consciousness was the theme of a recent weekend getaway. Shelby Hernandez reports.
If you were looking for a spiritual awakening, that's what you would have found this past Sunday at Guess What Camp and Retreat Center. That's where the Health, Wealth, and Consciousness Day Retreat was held. There were 3 holistic key speakers at the event, including Heather Nodello, who talked about the importance of having a self-identity, Heather Chauvin, who talked about the importance of eating right and not feeling guilty for needing me time, and Krista Rialba, who talked about doing what you love and taking a chance on yourself, even if there may be financial worries that come with that. During the retreat, participants were asked to write down certain things, such as 5 things they want to have next year, 5 things they want to become next year, and some general goals they have for themselves. Then, once it was Heather Nodello's turn to speak, she had the participants meditate. At the end of Nodello's speech, she asked the attendees to take a 10-minute walk before the next speaker because she says it will allow them to relax and connect with nature.
When you go out for walks, nature and energy go together. So when you're out for walking, especially on a retreat, I like that break so that people can go in their own thoughts. The outside helps them because it just increases everything. Plus it's a beautiful setting. So every retreat I make people kind of go outside if I can.
Finishing off the event was Krista Rialba, who talked in depth about taking risks and setting major goals. Rialba also had the attendees do some yoga with her, which, like meditation, relaxes the mind and the soul. As someone who often uses yoga and meditation to relax, Chauvin agrees with its use.
I love yoga. I love meditation. I think you have to find what works for you, but it really allows you to kind of go within. We're so busy, and it seems like when in doubt, they do yoga, or when in doubt, they breathe. So it allows you to really get crystal clear on what's going on inside. It gives you that space to kind of think, what's my next step?
The event ended with attendees writing down their thoughts about the retreat, which Chauvin, Nodello, and Rialba plan to use to better their future retreats. Although there is no set date when another will be, Rialba says it is possible they will have another one in the new year. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Shelby Hernandez.
A local Windsor fighter is making her mark in the ring. Sean Garrity has the story.
Randa Marcos is the #1 ranked strawweight female in Canada, and her last win on the Ultimate Fighter reality show boosted her to top 4 in the world. The Windsorite invited the public to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch her compete in the quarterfinals against Felice Herrig November 19th. The fight started off with a bang, with both fighters clinching and throwing knees and elbows. The end result was Marcos taking Herrig to the mat and submitting her by armbar in the first round. The bar erupted with cheers and screams when they saw Marcos win her second straight victory. The type of submission she used has never been seen in UFC competition. Marcos said her strong ground game is what won the bout.
I started off, just wrestling in high school, and I believed in myself. I knew I could take it further. I continued on with my jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I just wanted to be something.
After the fight, Marcos gave out free posters and signed autographs. This win puts Marcos one step closer to fighting for the first UFC strawweight title. Her husband, Jeff Thomas, was there for support. He said his wife's stardom can be stressful at times, especially watching her battle in the cage.
It's nerve-wracking. I don't like to see my wife get punched at all, and it's hell. And it's even worse not seeing her fight. For her to go to the show and not know how she's doing in the fights, it was even worse than watching her in the fights.
UFC lightweight Daron Cruickshank also competed in the Ultimate Fighter in 2012 and has been training with Marcos at Michigan Top Team in Dearborn. He said that she has the drive and potential to be any 115-pound woman in the world.
Yeah, at the 115-pound weight class for women, she's at the top. And coming into the Ultimate Fighter, they didn't have her ranked very high, but now people know who she is, and she's destroying people.
The Ultimate Fighter airs every Wednesday on national television. The finale of the show is on December 12th in Las Vegas. If Marcos keeps finishing fights the way she is, Windsor might have its first UFC champion. For Mediaplex News, I'm Sean Garrity.
Black Friday is always popular stateside, and now more than ever, it's an event for shoppers in Windsor too. Canadian retailers are taking advantage of Black Friday to provide savings to customers. Last year, Devonshire Mall saw just over 37,000 customers in a single day and is preparing for an even bigger crowd this year. The mall is opening its doors at 6 a.m., but most stores won't be opening until 7 a.m. General Manager Chris Savard says they will be generating a staggered start to keep customers safe.
No question, Black Friday is a very important retail day now for the Canadian retailer. So it will, I suspect, be the busiest day of the week, but the rest of the week will be very busy as well.
Retired Army Sergeant and journalism student Jeff Gravel comments on recent incidents involving military imposters.
Contained within the 5 medals and a set of airborne wings upon my chest is my life story. On a day of such prominence for soldiers and veterans, a day similar to St. Crispin's Day in Shakespeare's Henry V, it's no wonder the Frank Gervais of the world come out in search of recognition not earned. The problem being that Frank Gervais and others like him who attempt to steal the hard-earned valor of the men and women who serve their country have no idea what it entails to earn the right to wear those pieces of cloth and metal. What imposters, posers, phonies, and frauds fail to realize is that valor cannot be stolen. Honor cannot be faked. The brotherhood, the blood, and the sacrifice that is woven into each pretty piece of cloth upon the chests of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women is real and cannot be cheapened by their lies. Within my own collection of decorations is a story not as glorious as the ones being told by those who are not there. Sleep deprivation, hours upon days of boredom, lying in the snow for days to track a fake enemy in training, carrying a 95-pound rucksack through the foothills of the Rockies, training to be faster and better than any enemy my country could pit me against. Months and years away from our families, injuries and scars, nightmares and anxiety. The pain of burying the best, the bravest, and the most loyal of your friends is a feeling you don't want, Frank, trust me. Forged within the metals dangling from the ribbons are 14 years of memories and 14 years of living with a pack of sheepdogs, keeping the wolves at bay, away from Canada's door. You can pretend to be us. We know you're not. We know who we are and what we have done. You cannot take it from us. We won't let you. Not the honor or the pain. It's ours. We earned it. For you. I'm retired Sergeant Jeff Gravel.
If you're looking for some laughs, then the Rockhead Comedy Quarry is the place to be on Thursday night. Featuring comedian Dom Perret tickets are $15 and it gets underway at 9 o'clock. So come out for the Laughs for Run fundraiser Thursday at the Rockhead Comedy Quarry. We have a number of exciting programs offered at the Mediaplex, and today we are featuring public relations.
Students in the Public Relations program here at St. Clair College have a unique opportunity. Not only do they come here to learn all of the skills they need to be public relations specialists, but they learn in a multi-medium Mediaplex. And it's so important to be in a facility like this, where they know that when they go out, they will be competitive in their field.
I decided to come to St. Clair College after university because I kind of feel like I needed a little bit more to kind of make myself marketable.
I am a hands-on learner. I'm a doer, so I learn best and I can retain information more when I'm actually out using the skills that I'm taught. An example of where this program does that well was our photography classes. So in class we were taught different elements of photography. We were taught the rule of thirds and leading lines and angle and perspective, and then we were actually sent out into downtown Windsor, into the streets, and we were told to capture photos containing those different elements and bring them back to class and present them. And that's something that you can't just learn in the classroom, you have to learn that by doing it. So we actually developed an eye for photography and for getting good shots, and I really don't think that can be taught in the classroom.
Hands-on training means they'll be marketable, that they can hit the road running when they go into a company. And that's what's setting our public relations program apart. And it's also why employers are coming to St. Clair's public relations program looking for good employees.
Right now I'm interning in corporate communications at Caesars Windsor. It's a really good place for an internship for a PR student because there are so many things that the casino does.
After graduation, I was offered a part-time position at Caesars Windsor. So I am now an external communications specialist at Caesars Windsor.
We give them a skill set that I believe will make them the most marketable of any public relations program.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Aisha Coburn, and this has been Mediaplex News Now.
Mediaplex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism program.